My name is Steve Smith, aka Z-Axis, and yes, you may call me that, and I'll be teaching you how to use the anchor and image tag and all their attributes correctly on this episode of TQA Weekly. We're going to be talking about anchors and images. These are two of the most used and most important HTML tags on the internet. And this is very easy to prove. So before anybody tries to spam you by saying it's not true, very easy. Anytime you need to click a link, it's an anchor. Any button you click on that brings you to another website, that gives you the ability to download a file, that lets you go from page to page, like a link, plus one link. Anytime you do something that brings you to somewhere else, or load something in your computer, that was an anchor. Now, how do I prove the image tag is important? Besides using the example of pornography and photography websites, and basically anytime somebody wanted to add a logo or a picture beside a news article, I don't have to prove the image tag is important. It is important, and we all know that very well. So, what is it about these two tags that makes me decide to show you them together and not apart? Okay, so besides taking me less than 2-3 minutes each to explain, there is a variant debugging issue that occurred at the beginning of HTML 1.0 that needed to be addressed a long time ago, that still needs to be addressed today because of the way the anchor tag works in conjunction with the image tag. So I'm going to show you them both separately and then combined and tell you how to debug that so that it never shows up in your own code. Welcome to Arachnophilia 5.5, and this is the program that I started really making my biggest and best websites on the internet. Now, I'm going to introduce you and then demonstrate each of the tags, image and anchor, and then a third set which is going to be on how to incorporate the anchor and the image together. Let's start off with the basic image tag, which is, of course, an HTML object and therefore not required to have a closed tag. The image tag itself does have a required attribute known as source. You can source any image you want. For the principles of this demonstration, we're going to use an absolute path. This is the logo of the website, absolutely path. Now, if I wanted to make a relative path, we can go as far down as images / TQA Weekly header.png. In order to have this align either to the right, to the left, or center, you can use the align attribute, which you add to the end, space ALIGH space, and then within comments you type the alignment you want. We'll use left. What does this allow me to do? Well, it allows me to add text, height and width. You can go with percentages for this if you want to. You can write it by pixels, inches, and then finally there's the alternate text, which is usually made available when there's no images shown, which is ALT equal, and within comment, this is the logo of TQA Weekly. This is what an image looks like with no variables added whatsoever to it. This is what a graphic would look like, or a photo would look like if there was text aligned to the right of it, so it would be set to align left for the graphic. Now for the deep look into the anchor tag, which is an object modifier that allows us to connect to other web pages. So that would be the less down bracket, a greater than bracket, and of course this requires that we have a closed, but in between the open and the closed there's supposed to be text. So for us, we'll use the traditional, move the mouse, click here, and then less than, backslash, a, greater than, of course those are brackets, for this. Now of course, like the image tag, there is an obligatory, mandatory, not optional, attribute known as the hypertext reference in this case, which is the href equals whatever we want. In this case, we will use, in my case, the web address, to the podcast. You can use a relative or an absolute name path for the hypertext reference. Basically, you connect it to another web page on the same server, a photo, a video, a download, another website. Just make sure that if it's relative, it's in the same folder, and if it's not in the same folder, use the full path to that page to avoid any errors or four errors on the internet. We'll show you what that looks like. There, I had to click here, which you can click on. Let's just click on it to show it actually works, and it does. Now you may want to use an image to actually make it clickable. So how about we replace click here with the image. We'll use the logo of the website as the image source. If we want to really be creative, the anchor tag itself will add a target equals, just to make sure, underscore top. Underscore top. This will make a link that is clickable, that regardless where it is, will always click to the top on top of any iframe or frame or anything. As you've just seen, you've learned how to use the anchor tag, you've learned how to use the image tag, you've learned how to add tiny little attributes that will help you make these tags work, and they're not very hard. It's about 2 minutes max each to learn how to use a tag. Once you've learned a tag like the image tag and the anchor tag, you've basically had a grasp on the whole internet. Next week, by special request of one of my listeners, I'll be using the Linux terminal to achieve something within Linux. Of course, we're going to be using Ubuntu, and what I'm going to be showing you is how to identify background processes running in Ubuntu using the terminal, and we're going to use the terminal to figure out what the process ID is. And I'm even going to show you how to kill a background process using its process ID. The week after that, we'll get into tables and data, and then beyond this, more Linux terminals, more on Linux, and more advanced web development tools you can use. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like. If you need any of the information within the show notes are accessible at TQAweekly.com. Of course, this is the same place where you can subscribe to our show, the same place you can subscribe to our newsletter, the same place where you can get cool gear and apparel, especially some of our newer QR code t-shirts for guys and girls. And let's not forget all the show notes and all the videos of all the episodes we have ever done. If you have a problem, you can use our integrated search tool and give you the exact definition and solution to your current problem. If you can't find it on my website, ask at TQAweekly.com. Remember to subscribe, share, and like. Thank you for listening and subscribing. Stay safe and online. Have a great day.